Cool. Is someone supposed to come up? No. Okay, great. Um, I honestly feel pretty out of place, given everyone I'm kind of standing next to right now. I told my mom I was presenting with a bunch of professionals, and she Venmoed me $20. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. So today I'm gonna take a little bit of a different stance on BDD. I am gonna talk about myself and my life experience. But before I dump every single one of my insecurities onto you guys, I am going to take a second to kind of give you an understanding of what I think BDD is to me. And I thought the best way to do that is a story. Um, so there once was a guy and a girl named Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve used to walk around a garden all day with their junk just hanging out. In this garden was also a magical fruit. This fruit so happened to be forbidden. One day, Eve, being the silly girl she was, decided to take advice from a talking snake and took a bite out of this magical fruit and convince Adam to do the same. The next thing you know, both of them were not so silly. They became self aware. They immediately realized they were naked and they moved to fix it by putting on clothes, from moving from a point A to a point B. The end of that story. To me, this story not only proves that talking snakes are real, but that also that there's a double-edged sword to self-awareness. The more aware you become of yourself, the more aware you become of what you may lack, the more motivated you become to fix said lack. It's kind of like a bug bite. The more aware you are of its presence, the more you want to itch it, and that can just not be good. But again, just to move from a point A to point B, from Adam and Eve, from their junk hanging out to covering their junk. And everyone wants to cover their junk except my Uncle George. So it's not actually my Uncle George. It's some dude I found on the internet. But so I guess where does the BDD part come in? Um, I like to think the epitome of the human experience in this little image right here. It's to always move towards something and to kind of get to a top of a certain mountain. Again, to move from a point A to a point B, and that could mean anything. I just believe like the epitome of humans is to make things better in some sense. Stagnation ultimately is a form of death and a form of depression, and that better could be anything. That top of that mountain could represent anything. It could be anything that represents survival, connection, or status, from getting to your next meal to getting to work on time to that promotion at your work, to losing some weight, getting a better car, getting a better house, just moving towards something. Um, Never satisfied. It's almost like this addiction again to itch. There's always an itch. Um, I always like to think of yogurt as an example. I mean, yogurt started off just in a cup, and then we're like, you know what, we should take it on the go. Let's put it in a little bottle, and then after that, we decided to put it in little tubes, and we call those tubes Go-Gurt. And then those tubes suddenly started to have games and jokes on them. We just kept going and going, and just didn't want to stop. I believe someone without OCD or BDD tends to want to climb this mountain, but they do so at their own agency, at their own will, at their own time, behest. They take a break when they want to, they take a bite when they want to. They want to get to the top of that mountain, they want to reach their goal, but they do so again at their own agency. Someone with OCD or BDD is again also trying to get to the top of the mountain, but it's not out of their control. There's someone with a stick or a spear behind them. So every time they take a misstep, or they want to take a break, or they just kind of want to maybe not get there in as much of a rush, they're met with a spear to their back. But again, it's like not like this little brain thing is out to hurt them. They actually want to protect them. They love them so much that they want to make sure they get to the top of the mountain as quick as possible, or as safe as possible, or whatever, and they'll do whatever it takes. But it just makes the whole climb feel like life or death. So, um, And then again, as my colleague said here, BDD tends to show up during the time of our lives when we become very hyper aware of ourselves, kind of like good old Adam and Eve. It also BDD, I believe, other than general concerns about body appearance, it tends to hyperfixate on one part of the body and then cause all the issues in the world to stem from that one certain area. And again, puberty is quite literally the perfect storm. You have this combination of hyper self-awareness, all these changes in your body. And again, like BDD, I think spikes during these chapters when your appearance is relevant to getting to the top of that mountain. So, like I said, without any further ado, I will jump into some of the chapters in my life when getting to the top of that mountain had to do with my appearance. So, chapter one, monkey arms. I come from a Middle Eastern background, so that means a lot of hair, a lot of hair everywhere. Even from a young age, I had really, really hairy arms, and I would always like today, I would just wear long sleeves. I remember just for years, my closet was just filled with long sleeves. I didn't want anyone looking at me like I had a mortgage and kids. So I would just always cover them up. And one day I remember going up to my mom and saying, "Hey mom, Jake from school, he doesn't have any hair on his arms. Like, what's the deal? What is this?" She said, "Oh no, honey, he does. They're just blonde." And then an idea clicked, and she helped me bleach my arms for the next 2 years. And um, I was just doing that. And then I learned about Nair. Nair is great, but it's spicy. It smells weird. So I stopped doing the Nair. But yeah, that was kind of my first instance I remember with some sort of body dysphoria. But again, um, BDD, just like OCD, feeds on uncertainty. And what's more uncertain and something you can't control than your predisposed genetic attributes? So, um, chapter two, whack-a-mole. I have this mole. I have this beard right now. I usually don't have a beard. I'm usually very clean shaven. I hate facial hair. I'm doing a thing right now. So, um, yeah, I have this mole on the corner of my face, and usually freckles or whatever people think are like cute, but mole is a very weird word, and it always scared me. And my dad had to get his moles checked for cancer, and I thought that was gross. So I also kind of became very insecure about my mole. I remember for like 6 months, and even to this day, honestly, I always sit to the furthest left of a room so people can't see the left side of my face, um, because they'll see the mole, and it would just freak me out. Even on dates, even when I was with my longtime girlfriend, I would never let her see the left side of my face. I remember when I was younger, I saved up money for an entire year, Christmas, birthdays, just to freeze it off. And I remember just Googling constantly every day, like how much the procedure is. I knew how much it was, but I just wanted to know that was a possibility. And I put in my phone, like the number of how much the surgery was. But again, like OCD, I feel like things come and go, and there's these different chapters. And once something else takes its place, the other thing seems a bit more trivial. Um, chapter three, don't eat your hair. Uh, my grandma used to tell me this old wives' grandmother's tale about if you look at your manhood long enough, it'll cause your hair to fall out. And that freaks me out a lot. And I loved my Justin Bieber hair, so I wasn't willing to risk that. So I Googled constantly every day, like, how can I, what's good for hair? How can I protect my hair? It said, oh, spinach. So I would go to school every day with a Ziploc bag full of spinach and just eat them. And people would be like, what are you doing? And I'd just be like, oh, this is just my snack. And they'd look at me weird. And it got so bad to the point that every time I had a piece of hair fall out, I'd actually eat that piece of hair because I thought it would grow back. It sounds silly now, but yeah, that's how weird the BDD can get. Up until this point, I would say the previous chapters have been a little more on the lesser scale. In comparison to my nose, I always hated my nose when I was younger. To me, your nose is front and center of the middle of your face. It represents you. So I always took it with a lot of grandeur, and I would always crack it all these time, do these weird holistic facial guru exercises to try to change its face. I'd wear glasses. I have great eyes. I don't need glasses. I would just do it to try to minimize its face and size. And in college, I wanted to get rhinoplasty my sophomore year, but it didn't seem like a possibility, so I got a filler instead, which just reduced its shape, and that filler caused me a lot of torment after I got it. I spent weeks inside an apartment. I just wouldn't move. I was like a statue. I remember one time I touched a toaster, and I was worried that because there was heat from the toaster, it would somehow melt the filler. And I was going into my sophomore year of college, and there's a lot of things going on and excitement, and I just avoided all of it. I wouldn't go in the pool anymore. I wouldn't see my friends, so just avoiding so many activities. And then after my senior year, I was about to leave San Diego, where I went to school, and moved to LA for college. And I was about to start a career in the film industry. And I thought my nose, again, this thing that to my perception was such a big deal, needed to be fixed in order for me to make any sort of headway in this industry. And I kind of saw it as like when I was leaving college, everything was uncertain. The only thing that was certain was the fact that I'd have a nose that I liked, that I'd have a nose that looked good. But again, my parents pushed back. It was expensive, and it almost didn't happen. But I was so reliant on my nose as being this like grounded reality of my entire existence that um I almost I almost took my own life, and my parents kind of saw that. And I guess, being the good parents they were, they had no choice but to kind of go ahead with it. And after I did it, yeah, I like I said before, I was locked into my apartment when I got the filler. This was nothing like it. For 3 months, I wouldn't move. I would drink everything out of a straw. I only ate pureed food. I was a literal statue. I'd only wear clothes that would go over my head. My mom was in agony just seeing me deal with this. I thought every hope I had of success in the future, especially in the entertainment industry, was related to my nose. And if anything changed slightly, if it wasn't perfect at all, then somehow it'd fail. Every ounce of emotion, every key to success, every self-worth and point of meeting was about my nose. I even up until a couple months ago, where something else took its place, my nose, every ounce of emotion, every time I cried, every time I got angry, every time I got sad, was about if something touched my nose. My best friend got paralyzed a couple months ago, and I felt nothing. I like felt nothing. I had people in my family pass away. I felt nothing. I honestly, I mean, I'm not happy to say this. I didn't care. All I cared about was my nose. And it got worse. Ended up getting these blue contacts when I moved to LA. For some reason, again, like my nose, when people see you, for there's this idea that they can see you, and they'll take in and encompass this idea of you, so you won't have to try to be yourself. They'll see these blue contacts, they'll see this nose, and they'll think this guy's unique. I don't need to hear what comes out of his mouth. And I think that helps. There's a lot of certainty, and it makes you feel good. It's this crutch. Um, I turned 25 in January. 25 is like kind of this, you get this numbness to this aging escapade. And when I turned 25, I've been in a lot of uncertainty in this entertainment industry career for the past 3 years. There's no critical ladder to climb when trying to be like an actor or screenwriting. It's completely random and uncertain. So yes, yeah, 100%. So you cling on whatever possible type of certainty to make it feel like you're making progress in it. Around the time I turned 25 was also award season in LA. Award season, oh shit. Award season in LA is a fucked up time. I'm sorry. Is a horrible time. It's like there's billboards everywhere. Your Instagram reel and all that stuff. Oh crap. Your Instagram reels and everything like on social media is just like pressing you about like all these like real glamorous stuff that's going on and kind of really shoving in your face. And as you saw there, I don't know how to bring it up. My entire feed on Instagram and sorry, I don't know how to fix this. I'm so sorry. But regardless, my entire feed on like Instagram and my For You page was just this combination of like handsome actors that are being super successful, great jawlines, beautiful faces, and it was just like flooding my For You page every day, my entire social media. And the funny thing is, like, I don't ever remember a time where I liked anything about these actors or anything about these guys on social media. But then I came to realize that like social media and like your For You pages, it doesn't show you what you like or it doesn't show you what you want. It shows you what you desire. And I think envy is a negative connotation for desire. Like you see there, that's all I saw. And then I thought, you know what, maybe if my jawline looked like this, maybe if I lost more fat in my face, maybe I'll have a better chance of being a successful actor. So that started a new hyperfixation, and that was to lose fat in my face. So to get from 18% body fat to a new goal of 10% body fat. I went deep. Everything became a question mark. How many carbs? When should I eat? Da, da, da. I spent literally 8 hours a day on ChatGPT, 5 days a week at my day job. My day job, I would do nothing all day. So I would just spend time on my computer. And like health, again, is a gradual escapade. First, you learn, oh, it's not good to have soda. Then you're like, it's not good to have wheat. So you just learn, and it's constantly a question mark. Um, I lost weight. I lost 20 pounds in 1 month. I couldn't sleep. I would have panic attacks at night. I would freak out over the smallest things. Smoothie wouldn't blend correctly in my blender or smoothie maker, and that would ruin my entire week. I would think I wouldn't get a certain adequate amount of protein, and that would send me into a spiral. I have this weight scale, and one day my roommate asked to use my scale, and just him using it somehow made me think that that scale is not as accurate anymore and it won't give me an accurate weight. Therefore, my entire existence was now uncertain because I wouldn't know how much I weighed, and it caused a lot of turmoil. But these things I tell you about, like the to not check on ChatGPT, to these moments where to forego the fact that you might have not gotten an adequate amount of protein or stuff like that. For someone with OCD and BDD, I always try to like think about what it feels like, and to me, it feels like someone's pulling Saran wrap over your brain, and all you want to do is like to poke a hole in that Saran wrap, to check, compulse, and do something of that nature. So I always like to show that kind of that's how it feels. And something I've learned throughout this entire process is that um, BDD likes to trick you into thinking that you're moving towards something, you're getting towards the top of your mountain, but really the progress doesn't have to be rational. It just has to feel like progress. It just has to make you feel like you're moving towards something, even if you're really not. Because then again, the fear is standing still. We don't need logic. We just need a path. I used to think OCD or BDD was kind of my superpower, that I'd get to where I'd want to go faster and better than anyone else. But again, I was just this guy on this treadmill, believing a false reality. Um, yeah. So I guess at times it feels like the entire world is kind of metallic. Uh, you could tell me that the sky is blue, and I would believe you that the sky is blue. And I remember a time that the sky was blue, but for some reason, all I can see and feel is that the sky is orange. And I feel like that's kind of how it feels having an understanding of OCD and BDD. You can have all the knowledge of the world in the world, but it's the feeling, and that feeling a lot of times doesn't go away. Um, but there are times where I get these like brief and fleeting moments, whether when I'm writing or talking to you guys, where it's like someone with Alzheimer's, where suddenly they like snap into it and remember who they are, and like remember that they have Alzheimer's, and it's like this little window where they can feel emotion, you know, and it's brief, but it's worthwhile and it means a lot. So I thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to do that here today and kind of to feel. And thank you guys for talking about today. And I don't know, you guys were just unraveling my entire existence. I was sitting there freaking out. So thank you guys. Yeah, there are times I'm honestly scared of my brain, but the moments I've resisted, or I believe, are what have made me stronger. And as I'm getting closer to the top of a mountain that really matters, which isn't 10% body fat or anything like that, it's my own sanity. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.